Hello, I'm Leah. Welcome to my channel. This is brand new adventure for me. It's New Year's Eve 2020. I garden. I moved into a home about May of 2018. I'm a pastor, and so I live in a parsonage, and I'm allowed to garden and landscape in some selected areas around the house. So I started doing that 2018. I moved in kind of late and I didn't get much planted, mostly things in containers. Then 2019, I really expanded my garden to as many available spaces, but I didn't grow much of a variety. I didn't have many seeds, and I was just sort of getting started. And then 2020, I really went to town. My mom had moved in after she retired from her teaching career while she's building a tiny house. And she was able to help me do some things in the yard to really grow a lot of food. And for us, it was sort of a victory garden thing. And also because of lockdown, I had the time to invest in gardening, but also time to amend the soil and time to prepare myself and to invest in structures, things like all these teepees and T-posts and pallets and things you see around here, tools, for example. Now that I have all those things in place, and we're heading into 2021, I'm hoping to do more with my garden, hoping to grow a lot of food. Also, I'm a musician on the side, and 2020 had an impact on my music career, and I had very few gigs. A lot of them got canceled, eight altogether in the last part of the year, and so I lost a lot of income. And I have invested in some grow lights and seed starting materials in the hopes that not only I can start my own seeds and grow my own plants on this property, but also sell some on the side as additional income in the spring, and seeds as well that I started to save during COVID. So what you're looking at here is December 31st, the last of the chard, the early garlic. This is a pallet right outside my kitchen that I grew leafy greens in this year, and some garlic. This is a vertical pallet that I had a variety of herbs and flowers in, and also my cucamelons I planted in the top, and they trailed up this stairwell. You can see some of the lingering vines. This arbor here, this was already here when I moved in, and so I went ahead and planted some pole beans and trailed those up it, and that worked out really well. This is a raspberry patch I inherited, and they're very healthy, productive plants. They all got a trimming last year. This year they'll be fruitful again. I also added some strawberry plants and zinnias in this area. This is an old tumbling down outdoor fireplace, and I use it to make my compost. So all of the kitchen scraps go down the chute along with bits of cardboard and leaves, and then the worms do their magic, and out comes this beautiful, rich compost. We have some bulbs in here now waiting for the weather to warm up a little bit so we can plant them out. Right now where the ground is a little bit frozen yet. Anyway, this is my little house, my little garden plot. I'm going to take you around to the other side and show you what else I'm working with. This is the other side of the kitchen entrance, and this is all hostas. They're all cut back. I had hostas. I've also planted some coleus in here. I have kudzu, that's an invasive vine growing in here like crazy, and it takes over everything, and I'm having trouble killing it. This is the south side of the house, and when I came here, there wasn't much here. A lot of lamb's ear had taken over. There are some hostas that were pretty healthy, and there were bulbs, gladiolus. And this plant right here is an azalea, and that plant is an old lavender plant. And then that was pretty much it. And then you can see the lovely Bermuda grass. It is everywhere. That's a lemongrass that I tried this year that went crazy and obviously became very healthy while it was growing. But anyway, what we're going to do in this area is solarize the ground. Now over here by the satellite dish, there's a root system of a shrub that we can't dig out with the tools that we have. We need help with that. So it's something I'll have to hire out before I can grade everything and solarize it. But basically everything you see here, except for the azalea, is going away. I'm propagating new lavender to replace that. So that's, the old plant is going away. It's old and woody and it doesn't have a very good shape. The grass is going away. I have another spot to plant lemongrass next year on the other side of the house, so that won't have to stay here. So this part of the house gets wonderful full sun, gets morning sun, it gets part shade in the afternoon because of the church building being next door, and then it gets late afternoon sun, so it's perfect for okra, corn, tomatoes. I grew all of that here last year and it did fantastic. Marigolds all along the edge here did fantastic, and several herbs. This is a kiddie pool that I'm like winter sowing some cold crops right now, really as an experiment. I just created, it's kind of a mess now because we're getting rain later today, so I was airing it out and preparing it. I'm going to lift this up and let the plants get some rain and then cover it back up. Our rain today is turning into freezing rain tomorrow. Well, Happy New Year. And then this is the front of the house, and it's kind of a nightmare and it's a work in progress. When I got here, the only three plants were this spotted plant that's a healthy, beautiful plant, but it's still relatively small. You can see compared to the tree next to it, it's very small. And then over here was an enormous Nandina, and they have a habit like bamboo, and they just go crazy wild. They take over everything. And then on this side of the stairwell, I had this pine tree, and then one big clump of red hot pokers. That's what you're looking at here. They've just been divided out and replanted a few weeks ago. And then some shrub that for 1 week, maybe not even a full week, will push these beautiful white blooms, and then they disappear, and the entire rest of the year is just this ugly, gnarly looking plant. I don't even know what it is. I don't like it. I want it gone, but I didn't want to remove it until I had a better idea for what to put there. And then this is the north side of the house, so this is the shady part. You can see I'm air layering a lilac. That's so I can plant a mature lilac plant on my mom's new property. So this little shade bed here, I have some butterfly weed that takes over. I've tried to take it out a couple times. It keeps coming back. I have 2 hydrangeas. This one was mature and I inherited it when I moved in. And this little one is a baby red hydrangea, Red Sensation, that I bought from fastgrowingtrees.com. And then my hellebore was one big clump, and I recently divided it out. So now I have 3 starts to that, and 2 of them will go to my mom's house, and 1 of them will stay here with me. Coleus did really well here. I had some English thyme that was doing really well until the coleus toward the front got so big that it shaded it out and killed it, basically. So I will continue growing herbs here in the shade garden, but I'm going to reduce the number of coleus I grow. And then a local grower had what's it called? The Godzilla fern. Have you seen those? Those are beautiful. So I had one of those planted back here at the end of the steps. You see these 1, 2, 3 paving stones and a stone, and then just behind the stone in front of the statue of St. Francis. He's the patron saint of animals, and this statue was here when I moved in, and I really like it, so I kind of made it the focal point of this little shade area. But anyway, I'm excited about this particular area. I've got wild strawberries growing as a ground cover. They're fine. And a lot of spring flowers will come up and go down, and some very healthy Easter lilies grow along here. They pop out like really tall, and they bloom, and they almost create an arch over this little grass path. If you're wondering what I'm holding, it's my dog's squeaky toy. It's a spider. I'm also air layering this forsythia. We wanted to just dig some of it out because there's just too much. And it was planted right here by the meter boxes and everything. And we stuck the shovel in and discovered that it's all growing around the like propane pipes and stuff. And it's not a good situation. So instead of digging some out, I'm going to be air layering these two. So that's what that foil is. This spot here is the sunniest, most open spot, great soil, very little weed issues. I mean, you can't tell by looking at it right now, but I had surprisingly few weeds. So this was where I grew a lot of my tomatoes, peppers, basil. I did some companion planting. I had carrots in here early season and peas also in the spring. And it was a terrific spot. This year, I'm concentrating on taller plants here. So my corn and okra will go in here, and tomatoes and peppers will go on the south side. And then to cover the propane tank for the, this part of the season when I don't need propane, I'll be growing a row of sunflowers on the far side of the tank facing this little laneway so that people have something prettier to look at than a propane tank. And then I use a lot of containers and grow bags. This patio about 3 months ago was just covered in pots. Now a lot of those plants have been transferred indoors for the winter, trying to winter over some peppers. I've never done that before, but giving that a shot. And wintering over some of my herbs, perennial herbs. They're perennial in warmer climate, but I have just cold enough a winter, and particularly this year we've had some unusually cold temperatures just in December. So a lot of those are inside right now, but you can even see if you look the outlines of, there's this square pot where that one was. Here's a round one. These are where they were sitting and watered. So you can see where it got clean and where it got dirty. But this whole patio area, it also gets full sun. And so it's a terrific place for container gardens. And in the really, really hottest part of the day, the sun, so this is the church and this is my house. The sun rises to my left and over, and it'll cross behind the church for a little bit. And then it'll cross to the west and it'll come back out right there in that opening. So my plants, especially the peppers, loved it because they got afternoon shade, but morning and evening hot sun. So they really thrived. They did well both in ground and in a couple of containers. I just love hot peppers so much that I grew a wide assortment of them. You helping me out, Abs? So hi, I'm Leah, and this is my garden in Luray, Virginia, zone 6B. And that was Ivy. She's one of the 3 cats living in this house, along with my recently retired school teacher, Mother Cindy, and my dog, Holly. I'm sure along the way you'll get to meet all of them. I wanted to welcome you to my page, give you a tour of the blank canvas that I'm working with outside the parsonage where I live. This channel is for my own accountability. It's for me to be able to stick to a plan, for me to bounce ideas off of other people who are also interested in gardening. And I spent so much time during COVID taking advantage of COVID time to learn from other YouTubers. And so part of what I want to do with this channel is introduce you to seed companies that I've discovered that I really like, and YouTube garden vloggers who have enriched my life, and direct you to their pages and help you find resources. So a lot of what you'll see in the description boxes each week are links to other people's videos that will teach you the things that I've been learning, and just help to kind of expand a gardening network and become active in the online gardening community. So anyway, this is my way of welcoming you to Leah's Leaves. Stay tuned for other videos, including a 2021 seed haul. We'll be looking at seed companies that I've discovered. We'll be looking at winter sowing, which I'm going to try for the very first time beginning here in next month, January 2021. I'm super excited about that. I've been saving my jugs and mapping out and doing research in what grows well doing winter sowing method in my zone. I'm going to share that with you and then take you along on the progress of the garden as it goes. So if you have seen this video, leave a comment. Let me know who you are, where you are. Are you already gardening? Are you interested in starting? Kind of where you're at in your gardening life. And let's grow together. I hope you'll like this video, subscribe to my channel. There's going to be a lot of content coming, and I'm excited to share it with you. Keep me accountable, share what I'm learning with the world, learn from you and what you have to teach me. Happy growing. God bless.